Hello everyone, good morning, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 14th of March 2022. So let us quickly see the topics that are important for the day. Okay, so we will understand these topics today. The first topic is the functioning of the International Space Station after sanctions. Okay, so in this article we are going to understand what is International Space Station, which countries are participating to make this International Space Station functional, and we are going to understand that after the sanctions put on Russia by the Western countries and United States of America, is Russia going to take some steps related to the International Space Station? So there are some geopolitical issues, there are some science and technology related issues, and we are going to discuss all of it today in today's discussion. Then the next topic that we are going to discuss is related to Iran claims missile barrage near US consulate in Iraq. So in this article we will understand about geopolitical rivalry that is there between Iran and USA. So in this article we will understand like what has happened recently and how Iran has retaliated the moves that were taken by Israel earlier. Okay, so we are going to understand the recent things, and we are going to understand the importance of consulates. What are consulates, what are embassies? We are going to understand those things in this article. And in the third topic we are going to discuss about Chilika Lake area to be off limits for motorboats. Okay, so like Chilika Lake, this is one of the important areas, and it is recognized under international conventions also. So it is an important bird area where migratory birds visit this particular area every year. So it becomes an important an important thing for different departments to take care of the ecological aspect of this particular lake. Recently, like the authorities have taken some decision, and also like one of the High Court has given a judgment related to protection of the Chilika Lake, okay, from the motorized fishing vessels. Okay, so we are going to discuss in detail about that in this article. The next topic we are going to understand about unguided missile. Okay, so in this article we are going to discuss about what are unguided missiles, what are different types of missiles. We are going to understand about recent phenomena. I mean, like it was a recent incident that what has happened, like one of the one of the missile from India has accidentally crossed over the border, and it has hit Pakistan. Okay, so Pakistan has asked what is how it happened and why. So India has responded related to it, and we are going to discuss about ongoing issues with reference to this. And we are going to discuss about missile technology control regime today. Okay, we are going to discuss that thing in detail. And the next topic we are going to discuss about points to ponder while setting up SIPs. SIPs stands for Systematic Investment Plan. Okay, so in this article we are going to discuss little about what are systematic investment plan and how you can have your own systematic investment plans and all, right? So in this article the author talks about how you can be wise while making economic decisions, financial decisions. Okay, so let us start the discussion. Okay, so this article was there in that particular section which is known as text and context section. The text and context section is there in the e-paper format of The Hindu. Okay, it is not print. It does not come in the printed version. So it is there in the e-paper. So in this article, we are going to discuss about the functioning of the International Space Station after sanctions. Okay, so will the US stiff curbs on Russia affect their collaboration on the International Space Station? Okay, so here this particular issue is also in reference to the special military operation that was conducted by Russia on Ukraine. Okay, so it is still ongoing, but meanwhile many Western countries including the United States of America, they have put sanctions on Russia. Okay, so they have cut off their ties with the banking with the banking system of Russia, and also they have put other limitations on Russia, right? So here recently there was a recent like communique. We say it communique means like there was a statement by Roscosmos. What is Roscosmos? Roscosmos is the name of Russia's space agency. Okay, this is the name of space agency of Russia, Roscosmos. Then what is the name of the space agency of the United States of America? NASA. NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. What is the name of the space agency of India? ISRO. It is Indian Space Research Organization. Okay. Similarly, we have space agency of Japan, which is known as Japan Space Exploration Agency, JAXA. Okay, JAXA is the space agency of Japan. Then like we have European Space Agency, we have Canadian Space Agency. Okay, so we have different space agencies, and almost every country in the world has a space agency, provided like they are actually doing exploration in the space sector. Okay, so India is one of the emerging space agencies in the world. Okay, it is emerging, and at the same time like it has made huge progress in a considerably very lesser time span. Okay. So here we are going to understand about the gist, then we are going to look into the story so far, then we are going to understand what is the role that is played by Russia in the International Space Station. Okay, why does the orbit of the International Space Station need to be corrected? What is the extent of effort and expense involved in this? If Russia should back out of the effort, are there spacecrafts that can substitute? Okay, so in this article we are going to discuss these things. Okay, so if we talk about what has recently happened, after the backdrop, means after the Western countries have put sanctions on Russia, Russia had retaliated related to this earlier also. So Russia has in turn banned the exports that were happening to other countries. And later on, recently there was a statement by the Russian Space Agency chief, and he said that we are going to stop all our collaboration with other countries with reference to the International Space Station. So now let us understand what is International Space Station. So when we talk about International Space Station, it is an artificial, you can talk it to be, it is an artificial system. It is an artificial satellite type of system where human beings can reside, but this is not located on the earth. Let's consider this is earth. Okay, so International Space Station orbits around the earth. Okay, it orbits around the earth. It is located in the lower earth orbit, okay, which is known as LEO, low earth orbit. So International Space Station is a kind of satellite that revolves, okay, that revolves around the earth, and it is placed in the low earth orbit. Why International Space Station is important? Because International Space Station helps the scientists to do certain kind of scientific experiments, to observe the earth, or to understand about how to place different satellites at what location and all. So this International Space Station is located outside Earth, in the Earth's atmosphere, I would say, in the lower Earth orbit, and it keeps on revolving there. But this International Space Station, there are people, there are astronauts that are sent. They are sent over there, they do certain kind of experiments, and they come back from there. So this is a international collaborative project where the different space agencies from the world. At present there are 5 space agencies that are part of this particular project. Okay, one of the space agencies is Roscosmos of Russia. Then second is NASA of United States of America. Then we have Canadian Space Agency. Then we have European Space Agency, and we also have Japanese Space Agency, which is known as JAXA. Okay, so these are 5 space agencies that are part of this particular project, which is known as International Space Station. Why do we need so many countries on a single project like this? Because this single project requires huge amount of technical know-how. I mean, every country, every country does not possess all the things that is required over here. Okay, so some countries have some technical expertise in one area, other country have technical expertise in other area, and at the same time this is a very highly expensive project. Okay, so for one single country to be maintaining this thing becomes very costly, and like sometimes it is not a feasible project for one country. Okay, so that's why many countries have participated together and they have made this thing happen. So if we talk about what is the role of Russia, right? Russia plays multiple role in this particular International Space Station. Okay, so we are going to understand about role of Russia. Okay, so Russia plays two major functions. One of the major function is maneuvering. Okay, it is known as maneuvering the International Space Station. Second thing is sending and bringing back astronauts. Okay, bringing back scientists or astronauts. Okay, from the International Space Station. So Russia plays two key roles, very important role. One of the role is sending scientists to this International Space Station and bringing scientists back, from International Space Station to Earth. This is a major functionality that Russia does. Okay, if we go just few years back, there were no other countries in the world that could have performed this functionality except Russia. But as of now, there are two companies. I mean, one of the company is known as SpaceX. Okay, so this is a private company. SpaceX is a private company of Elon Musk, and it is located in United States of America. Then there is another another space another company which is Boeing. So Boeing also have a spacecraft that can do this functionality. They can send, people, and they can bring back people from this thing. And why maneuvering is important? What happens, this particular satellite or International Space Station that is that is revolving around the Earth. It is revolving around the Earth in a particular orbit. But what happens because of space debris? I mean, sometimes some space debris come. So to avoid the risk of collision, okay, with the space debris, it has to be maneuvered. Its path has to be changed. Second thing is once in a while some tilt happens. So it is important that we keep this particular International Space Station in a defined orbit. So for that, for keeping this thing in the defined orbit, maneuvering has to be done around 7 to 8 times in a year in this particular International Space Station. So both the functionalities are performed by Russia. These two functions are performed by Russia. So Russia plays a key important role over here. Okay, so as of now, what has happened, Russia, I mean, there are two, so I discussed about two companies. Okay, if Russia backs out of this particular mission, then SpaceX Dragon module. Okay, so SpaceX has a module which is known as Dragon module, and Boeing has a Starliner. Okay, so these two, I mean, what we said, these two companies have their spacecrafts that are able to that are able to perform these functionalities. Okay, so this is the thing. Even though the US imposed sanctions on Russia, including ban on transfer of technology, the scheduled mission for transfer of crew on the International Space Station between the two countries seem to be unaffected. Okay, so these two countries, USA and Russia, I mean, they have put sanctions on one another. There are sanctions related to what we say, I mean, economic sanction, financial sanction, ban on export of things. A lot of things are happening in these two countries, but still what is happening, still this particular mission, I mean, the Russia is about to send astronauts to the International Space Station. That work has not been halted yet. Okay, that work is still going on. So this is the thing. So let us once again see the role. Okay, So in this article means I have listed like what different parties are saying. So the International Space Station is built with the cooperation of scientists from 5 international space agencies. They are NASA of the United States of America, Roscosmos of Russia, JAXA of Japan, Canadian Space Agency, and the European Space Agency. So how many how many countries are participating in it? 5 space agencies. Okay, scientists from 5 space agencies have collaborated to make this International Space Station a functional project. Okay, so both in terms of expense and effort, it is not a feat that a single country can support. Okay, so it requires multiple countries, so it requires huge amount of investment. So a single country cannot support such a huge level of expenditure. So due to enormous weight and ensuing drag, the International Space Station tends to sink from its orbit at a height of about 250 miles above the Earth. Okay, so it is located at a height of about 250 miles above the Earth, means like it is not located very far away from Earth. 250 miles, you may see like from Delhi to Agra maybe. Okay, so it's not that far. Yeah, so it is located at this height, but like it has a very high weight. So because of this it tends to sink towards the Earth, so that's why maneuvering has to be done, and it requires huge amount of fuel. Okay, so this is borne by Russia. This particular thing is borne by Russia. So approximately once a month this effort has to be made. It is not necessarily a regular operation, means like once, like if this particular maneuvering is missed in a month, so it can be done next time, but like doing that thing next time will require even higher fuel. Okay, so just doing a maneuvering in one time in the space station, it requires 7 to 8 tons of fuel. Okay, aviation turbine fuel. So now if Russia back out of the space thing, so there are 2 agencies, SpaceX Dragon module and Boeing's Starliner. Okay, so these are the thing. So this is the thing. Now it seems that like both the countries are not cooperating with one another, but like this particular project is still working, it is going on. Okay, so preparations are being done by the scientists from both the countries in this particular project. Okay, so let us talk about another topic. It says Iran claims missile barrage near US consulate in Iraq. Okay, so what has happened, like near the US consulate, like like in Iraq there are embassies of different countries located, like in India also embassies of different countries are located. Similarly in all other countries that maintain foreign relations with other countries, there are foreign consulates, there are foreign embassies, right? So there is a foreign embassy that is located in Iraq, and it is the foreign embassy or consulate of the United States of America. Recently there was a missile attack, okay, on the consulate, but like it did not damage the consulate, it damaged the building nearby the consulate. Okay, just nearby buildings have been hurt, but not the consulate itself. Okay, and this particular thing, this particular missile attack on in the location nearby the US consulate in Iraq was done by Iran. So Iran has claimed responsibility for this. Iran said like we have conducted this particular operation, and Iran has also clarified that why they have conducted this particular operation. Because recently, like there was an incident where like what we say, there was an incident where the Israeli, some of the Israeli forces, what they have done, they have a strike in Syria in some of the location, and that have led to killing of 2 armed forces personnel who belong to Iran. Okay, so 2 of the armed forces personnel have been killed by an action of Israel. So it happened few days back. After then Iran has said like we are going to retaliate on this, and recently they have done this missile attack, okay, there. And after doing missile attack, Iran has clarified that we have done it, and we have done it to retaliate the action that was taken by this Israel. Okay, so this was the thing. I mean, like Iran has claimed responsibility for a missile barrage that struck near a sprawling US consulate complex in northern Iraq. Okay, so what was the standing of Iraq? Iraq means like it is a, as of now it is a neutral country. Okay, so Iraq thinks like, you know, Iraq should not be a battleground to settle the disputes between two different countries. On one side there is Iran, on other side there is USA. Okay, so Iraq says like Iraq cannot be a battleground for you people to settle your disputes here. You should do it you know, at your place, not at my place. Okay, so that's why, you know, they have the government. Okay, so the Iraqi government, they called that it is a violation of international law and norms. It is a violation of international law and norms, and demanded an explanation from the Iranian leadership. The government, you know, Iraqi government reiterated its refusal to allow Iraq to be used to settle scores between other countries. Okay, so this is the thing. And USA has said that the strike were an outrageous violation of the Iraq's sovereignty. Okay, means like it is a violation of Iraq's sovereignty. I mean, like Iraq has the sovereign rights over its land, over its territories. Other countries cannot, I mean, like what we say, cannot launch missiles, you know, like without, without any threat. Also, like they have not been threatened by, like Iran has not been threatened by Iraq. Okay, that's the thing. So Iran's powerful Revolutionary Guard said on its website. Okay, so like they have, so like Iran has military force which is known as Revolutionary Guard. Okay, so 2 of its personals were killed recently, so that's why they have retaliated related to this. Okay, so this is just a like ongoing issue. So in future, like if it is if it escalates, so we can see, you know, another kind of incident happening between Iran, Israel and the United States of America. Okay, so now let us talk about another topic. This is also an important topic. This is important from environment and ecology perspective. This topic becomes important because, like, you know, Chilika Lake assumes very important place, right? So Chilika Lake area to be off limits for motor boats. Okay, so plan to provide migratory birds an undisturbed ecosystem in Mangal Jodi for 6 months every year. Okay, so what they are what the authorities have planned, that the Mangal Jodi place, okay, this particular place, you know, the place that you can see over here, this is the, I mean, like this is picture of the Mangal Jodi, means like it is one of the site only, so it is not the entire site. So this particular site will be kept undisturbed for 6 months in a year, means like for about 6 months motor boats will not be allowed to pass through or scroll, you know, through this motor boats. Fishing motor vehicles or fishing motor boats will not be allowed to pass through this particular location. Okay, to give this particular space to migratory birds for their, you know, because like they are visiting every year. So Odisha government has proposed to ban movement of mechanized fishing boats in the Mangal Jodi area of the Chilika Lake, and it is an important haunt of migratory birds to provide wing guest and undisturbed ecosystem. Okay, so this particular location is an important place for the migratory birds, and why the government of, I mean, Odisha government has, you know, proposed that like we want to give this keep this particular location isolated, or we want to keep this particular location undisturbed, because the Odisha government wants that this particular location should, you know, should be given properly for migratory birds. Okay, so the Odisha High Court concurred with the proposal, directing that the ban be strictly implemented. Okay, so Odisha High Court has also, like, you know, accepted the proposal of the Odisha government, and it has you know, directed that this particular ban should be strictly implemented. Okay, so this particular exercise will be conducted, I mean, like, you know, banning exercise will be done by the Fisheries Department and Wildlife Department. Okay, so they will consult with each other and they will impose the ban over here. So Mangal Jodi, this particular place, like, you know, Mangala Jodi is recognized as globally important for conservation of birds, and migratory birds arrive there for roosting, However, no statutory rules or regulations are there for protecting this particular marshland. So this particular area is a marshland. Marshland means it is a marshy water, means like we do have water here and it is not fresh water. We would say like it is salt water. It is known as marshland. Okay. So this is the thing. Fishermen may be allowed. I mean like they will allow the fishermen to pass through. Okay, fishermen may be allowed to use all the main channels leading to Mangal Jodi, like Sundarpur and this place, Bhusundapur and Kalupa, Daghata. So these are the places. I mean like where the there is marshland and where migratory birds move. Okay, fishermen will be allowed to pass through this channel. But like at the same time, they will not allow mechanized boats, to pass through this thing till from October till March. So this decision was taken and it is going to be implemented. So you need to understand about importance of Chilika Lake, see where the lake is located, see what kind of migratory birds move there, and is Chilika Lake protected under any protection regime? For example, like so for protecting every different kind of ecological things, so we do have different provisions for this. Okay, so with this, now let us understand about another topic. This is a very important topic. Okay, in this topic we will understand about unguided missiles. Okay, so let us understand the context. Okay, so what has happened recently, like accidentally one of the missile got fired from Indian side and it has crossed over the border and it has landed on the soil of Pakistan. Okay, and after then what has happened, a kind of tussle started between the two countries. So Indian side said like it was an accidental release of the missile, and at the same time Indian government has initiated a probe, unilateral probe, one-sided probe, where Indian courts are going to look into, I mean like they are going to investigate how this particular, what we say, incident occurred. But Pakistani government, they have asked for a joint probe, means like joint investigation, where Pakistani officials, Indian officials and some foreign officials, foreign scientists are going to participate in the inspection activities. But like India maintains like we cannot allow for any kind of joint probe in this particular thing. We are going to do the probe and we are going to take action on this. Okay, so this is a this is a kind of tussle that is happening, and we need to understand both the countries, India and Pakistan, both the countries are nuclear capable. They are nuclear countries, means like we do have nuclear power, means like we do have nuclear missile, right? So we do have nuclear capability. Pakistan also has nuclear capability, and India is like, if we talk about this missile, unguided missile. Okay, so there are different types of missiles that India has. One of the missile is BrahMos. Okay, we have a BrahMos. Okay, we have BrahMos cruise missile. Okay, one of the missile that we have is BrahMos cruise missile. So Pakistan has given a description that this particular missile was coming at this speed, it was flying at this height, and it has a strike 124 kilometers inside the Pakistani border. So like if we see, I mean like the description that was given by Pakistan, it hints towards BrahMos cruise missile, but like it has not been like told by Indian government or authorities that it is BrahMos missile. It is as per the description that is given by Pakistan, that it came with this speed, it was flying at this height, and it has come this far. Okay, so that talks about range of the missile. Okay, so like it gives an impression that this was BrahMos cruise missile. But at the same time, it is important for us to understand that like India is a member of the Missile Technology Control Regime. Okay, India is a member of MTCR. MTCR stands for Missile Technology Control Regime, and India has joined the Missile Technology Control Regime in the year of 2016. Okay, in the year of 2016. Now this particular incident actually raises some international questions, like such a responsible country like India, how this accident can happen. I mean, like this may have like if it has happened with a like unguided missile, it may happen with a nuclear missile as well. Means like people are raising question. So like so we have discussed about description of the missile given by the Pakistan. So India is developing more missile systems including hypersonic variant. Okay. So now like this particular missile which is that we are talking about, the court of inquiry confirmed that it was shot by an Israeli origin Spider surface to air missile system of the Indian Air Force. Okay. So the court of inquiry means like inquiry is happening, they have confirmed that this particular missile is an Israeli origin Spider surface to air missile system, okay, of the Indian Air Force. So this is the thing. So let's see what happens. Okay. So like all these things. Okay. So this particular missile which we called as BrahMos missile, right? So BrahMos missile is there with all the three services, like it is there with Indian Air Force, Indian Army, Indian Navy, all of them have access to the BrahMos missile. Now let us move to another topic. In this topic we are going to understand about points to ponder while setting up SIPs. Okay, so this is, I mean like this is related to what we say wise decision making while taking financial decisions. What are SIPs? SIPs are systematic investment plans. I mean like many people, many working people, they set up systematic investment plans so that like every month they can invest some amount, okay, into their bank account. If they invest some amount into their bank account, what's going to happen? Over a time period, this amount is going to what we say like it is going to generate returns, and the fund is going to accumulate. Okay, so this article talks about what kind of systematic investment plan should one select. Okay, what kind of SIP should one select? So according to this particular article, it says like one should select those systematic investment plans that are that are profit generating, and one has to be wise enough in selecting them. And at the same time the author is saying like you have to think about the lifetime, means like for how long you want to keep investing in this fund. And author has given an example that if you wish to invest your money for 8 years, so like at the end of every year you review that particular SIP, see how it is performing. If it is performing good, you go ahead. If it is not performing good, you may think of like withdrawing your fund from there and like investing in some other fund. Okay, so this is just what we say. The author has just said about like how to invest wisely in this thing. So author is talking about some of the indexes, like those index that these funds track. So we do have like if we talk about index, one of the index is known as ETF, exchange traded fund. Then we also have index fund. I mean like some of the index fund, for example bank index. So that index will comprise of all the banking sector itself. It will comprise of some of the banks, right? So this is the thing, means like this is a general what we say general article that helps to that helps someone to understand like what are systematic investment plans, what are ETFs, what are index funds, and how one should go ahead with this thing. I mean like I have included this thing because today, I mean most of the topics that were there were related to politics, means like after the election results. Okay, so everything was related to politics. So I tried to select those topics that may be helpful. So I have taken most of those topics, and this is just an additional topic that that talks about active funds and passive funds. Active funds are those funds, I mean like where you are investing and like it is subjected to market risk as well as active risk. Passive funds are those like where like there will be what we say ETF is a passive fund. So you can invest in ETF. So it will not be having active risk, it will be having passive risk. So this is all about today's articles. So with this, let us solve one question. Okay, let us discuss about this particular question. Okay, so practice prelims question. Which of the following space agencies have cooperated for building the International Space Station? Okay, so we have multiple options. NASA of the United States of America, Roscosmos of Russia, JAXA of Japan, Canadian Space Agency, European Space Agency. Okay, 1, 3, 4, 6, 7. Okay, 1, 3, 4, 6, 7. So C is the right answer. Okay, C is the right answer. Very simple question, provided you know like which space agencies are part of it. Or if you can eliminate some of the options, you can do like China is not a part of it. So whichever option has 2, you can eliminate. Okay, A, B, D, you can eliminate, you will be at the right answer. Right? Single, China is not a part, you just eliminate China. China is there everywhere. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you so much everyone for joining the session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.